Very exciting tonight. I'm going to be telling the story of my life. Yes, the story of my life through the medium of Google Earth VR. Very exciting times. Still haven't fixed my theme tune. You'd think that would be easy, but it's actually incredibly hard. I can't seem to work it out at all. Or I'm incredibly stupid. That might be another thing. Okay, so I'm going to talk about life, my life. I know it's not particularly, it's a bit self-indulgent this, isn't it? It's not like I'm important or anything, but I was just looking through Google Earth. I thought it might be interesting. Just talk about, places I know, places I've been. Share a bit of myself with people. If people are interested. If you're not, don't have to watch it. I'm going on. I'm making too much of this already. Right, okay. This is Google Earth. Sorry about the format. It's as best as I can do. Let's jump in there and do a bit of reminiscing. Walking down memory lane. There we go. Let's just make sure that I am recording properly. Yes, I am. Marvellous. So where shall we start is the question. I did kind of work this out earlier. I thought, yeah, I could talk about that, and I could talk about that. Of course, as soon as I start recording, can't remember anything. Right. Wow. Look at this place. I'm so ignorant, I don't actually know where we are. This is just obviously the menu screen, but they always start you off in a totally amazing place. And I'm guessing this is somewhere in Italy. I've absolutely no idea. I'm quite ignorant, aren't I? Well, never mind anyway. Let's start. Oh, we're in Greece, really? Kalabaka. Let's see what Greece looks like at nights. Sun setting. Stars are coming out. Oh, it's so brilliant. I'm going to go and... What am I going to do? I know. I'll stand up here. I'll just stand on this edge here. And as you land, just to give you a bit of a recap on Google Earth, as you get close to the ground, the scale expands out. So that is now massive. That is to scale. That is like looking down this huge great canyon. So I'm going to... And as you jump off the edge... That now is tiny. That is like I can lean down, you see, and touch that ground. That is now my size. That's 6 foot. And when I go over here and land on it, boom. Now look, everything's massive. So you get the idea, right? I'm just a little recap there because it's quite important. So let's have a little look at the menu. And I think in here I've got my saved areas. Oh yeah, here we go. So, where shall I start? I suppose the thing to do... I can't actually remember which way around it is. So, I'm going to start at the beginning of my life. It's always a good place to start. This is where I'm originally from. This is the Lake District in the sort of northwest of England. Borders with it's a county of Cumbria, and it borders with Scotland. And the Scottish used to steal our sheep, and we used to steal their sheep, and we all got on very well, I'm sure. But there you go. That's where I'm from. The Lake District. It's called the Lake District. Yes, that's right. It has lakes. It also has lakes mainly because it rains so much there. I shouldn't say that really. It's a lovely place. But my dad would murder me if I said go on about it raining. My dad loves the lakes. So yeah, Lake District. It's just a very mountainous area of the UK, and this is where I'm from. People are often surprised by this information, especially in the UK, because it's such an obscure place to come from. Not a lot going on here. But there you go. Little pockets of villages in these valleys. Huge, great mountains. It's just a beautiful area of the UK, and a holiday destination, especially if you live in the north of England. People just pop up here and go for a walk. It's got over here somewhere is Sellafield, which is one. I don't think it's called that anymore. It's not called Sellafield since the nuclear disaster. Is that Sellafield? Looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah, I think this is the nuclear plant. And then that means over here you've got a really... God, where is it? Well, I'm not going to try and be knowledgeable about the Lake District. I don't know it that well. I moved from the Lake District when I was a kid. Both my parents had jobs up here, and they moved down to be closer to my mum and dad. And that's going to be the next point. Oh, we have people subscribing already. If you do subscribe, you get a little shout out. Unless you have a rude name. Feel, do, drift. So you have to be careful when I say things now, because it might be that it pronounces something rude. You never know. But yes, welcome to the happy little club. I'll try and read out as many as I can. So yeah, that was the Lake District, and here's a sad fact about the Lake District. This place here, and again, a bit of personalness, but anyway, I'll share it anyway. This place here, and I stand here to remind me, when the very sad day comes, this is where my dad wants to have his ashes spread. He's such a morbid bugger. Every time I see him, it's like, don't forget, you've got to spread my ashes on this point here. And I'm like, okay, so I bookmarked it in Google Earth so I don't forget where it is. There you go. I'll do it here. I might do it here in VR. That's a bit of a lazy man's approach, isn't it, really? Okay, bit of a sideline there. So next I'm going to move to where we ended up in Cornwall. So first of all, I suppose it would be wise to zoom out a little and give you some context here. So I moved from up here, the northwest of England, right up there, bordering with Scotland, all the way down to the southwest, this beautiful coastline of Cornwall. And just look at this place. Look at this place. Just beautiful. Now, if you're like my age, maybe even a bit younger, you might remember a television program called Fraggle Rock. Do you remember that? Fraggle Rock? Dance your cares away, troubles for another day, or something. Yeah, that one. Well, here's an interesting fact. Fraggle Rock had a lighthouse at the beginning of it. Do you remember the lighthouse, I wonder? Well, the lighthouse is actually there. Although you haven't got any of the 3D buildings here, but there's Falmouth over there. This is the Foul Estuary, one of the deepest estuaries in the whole world, believe it or not. That's incredibly deep there. And right here is a lighthouse, which was in the beginning of the Fraggle Rock Jim Henson program. Do you remember that one? Well, that is the lighthouse, trust me on this one. They even filmed a few shots around it. From time to time you'd see film crews coming into St Mawes over there. Anyway, so let's go up the Foul Estuary, whiz up the Foul Estuary, and I'll tell you about the next stage of my life. When I came down from the Lake District, we moved to, well, just on the outskirts of the town of Truro. So Truro's here. Truro's a lovely town, and again, unfortunately, because southwest England, you know, the Google car doesn't get down there much. It's not 3D mapped. They haven't done the trouble of 3D mapping it, but it's a beautiful little town. It's got a lovely cathedral in the middle of it, and it sort of sits sort of slap bang in the middle of this bit of Cornwall here. And yeah, it's just a lovely area. And there you go. And in fact, where we ended up living, we lived with my mum's parents, and my grandfather was a vicar of a local church. And so I lived in the rectory on the hill, a big giant mansion overlooking the village below, and lived there. And I was a choir boy and went to church and Sunday school and all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, grew up in Cornwall. And while my mum and dad, I guess, were saving money to get a house of their own. And that moves on to my next part of my story, is where I ended up after that. So they saved up some money, and we ended up moving to the north coast of Cornwall, to this beautiful area. See, the north coast of Cornwall is just lovely, and people in the UK tend to know Newquay and the north coast area of Newquay, and it's just lovely. You've got these beautiful kind of rocky high cliffs and lovely towns, and yeah, it's just lovely, really lovely. And yeah, there you go. So this is a little beach town, and we lived in a beach town right on the I guess this is the Irish Sea, isn't it, on the north coast of Cornwall, and just a very lovely area to live. Yep. But things didn't quite work out, and my mum and dad, they didn't get on, and unfortunately they broke up. And my mum ended up living over in a very beautiful part of the world, St Ives, and she lived over there, and in the end, I mean, I won't dwell on it too much, but I didn't end up living with my mum. I ended up living with my dad, and my brother actually ended up living with my mum, so I ended up kind of losing a lot of touch with my mum and my brother. But this is a lovely area. I mean, I still used to visit them, and St Ives was a very lovely place. And that again, let's give you some context where St Ives is. There's that place I was talking about. Let me just spin it around. Whoa, there we go. So St Ives is here. Yeah, see that? There's Cornwall, and there's St Ives. Zooming down. Beautiful place, full of artists. It's like an art colony. And my grandmother was a St Ives artist, and I used to visit my grandmother and my mum and stuff, and yeah, kind of sad time of my life, to be honest. But I used to walk around St Ives, which was a beautiful area, and I still go back there, so it hasn't affected me too much. And there's the Tate Gallery, just near. I always forget the names of the beach. Porthmeor and Porthminster, and I always get them mixed up. Porthmeor, Porthminster, I think. Yeah, no, Porthmeor. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's just fly up this coastline. Let's just have another look at that north coast. Just lovely. Rolling hills into jagged, rocky, dark granite cliffs. Not granite. Yeah, granite. Very beautiful. You have you have Fistral Beach. Where the heck is Fistral Beach? That's not Fistral, is it? Is that Fistral? Oh, I'm getting confused now. Where the heck am I? No, that's this is Perranporth. I know this is Perranporth because it's got a very lovely long beach, and it has in the middle of it a big rocky outcrop with a natural salt swimming pool right in the middle of it. So when the tide comes in, fills it up, tide goes out, and that warms up, and it's a lovely swimming pool. I've been there many times. But yeah, let's go up past Perranporth. A little tour of Cornwall now, and we're going to come up on Newquay soon. Newquay's a very popular place. This is Newquay, and this is Fistral Beach, which is a very popular with surfers. It's very well known globally, golf course. But I won't lie, it's a shithole. There you go, I've said it. I mean, it looks lovely, right? But it's just full of tourists and tat. It's like the Blackpool of Cornwall, and it kind of irritates me a bit when I talk about Cornwall and people say, oh yeah, Newquay, I've been to Newquay. You haven't been to Cornwall. This isn't Cornwall. In fact, I'd say, just judging the whole of Cornwall based on that little kind of scabby part there is pretty terrible. That sounds like I'm being incredibly elitist, I know, but there you go. Maybe I am. So, what happened then? My mum and dad broke up, and I ended up living in a different area. In fact, let me just check my menu, see how I've actually arranged this. What's this? What have I done? Yes, here we go. So I'm back at Fraggle Rock. So I actually ended up living near Fraggle Rock, so on the south coast of Cornwall, on something called the Roseland Peninsula. So the Roseland Peninsula, as we go up into space again, Truro's up there, this is the Roseland Peninsula. Now this Roseland Peninsula is, nobody lives there. So I lived it here, and there's a few villages dotted around. The biggest town on the Roseland Peninsula probably is St Mawes, which isn't actually that big really. Has a beautiful old castle there, and it's dotted around with like tiny little hamlets and tiny little villages, and I lived in a tiny little hamlet. In fact, no, I didn't even live there. I lived like in a house in the middle of nowhere, literally by itself. Nearest neighbour was, about a mile away. I'm going to show you some areas of this place. So as we zoom out here, you have, make sure I get this right, you've got down here, you've got Port Scaffo. Port Scaffo is a really beautiful little village. As I fly over here, we're into Gerrans Bay now. Fly down here to Pendower Beach. And over here, joining up with Pendower, is Calm, the Nair Hotel and the Nair Headland over here. There you go. Anyway, it's just a beautiful area of Cornwall, and you know what? If you ever visit Cornwall, this is the best bit. And I'm not being prejudiced here. I'm not. Well, you know, the rest is okay, but this bit, it's good. Stick with this bit. I do miss Cornwall. You're probably wondering why I left. Well, it's a very rural place, you know. I mean, I guess there's probably areas, if you're from the US, you'll probably understand the area, you know, the concept of somewhere being incredibly rural and incredibly beautiful, but of course you don't want to stay in an incredibly rural and beautiful area. You want to move the heck out and go and make something of your life, and that's what I wanted to do. The whole time I lived in Cornwall, I dreamed of being in London, which is kind of ironic. I live very close to London now. That's what I always wanted to do. So what's the next part of my story, I wonder? Oh yes, after going to school and university, I studied to be an engineer. I ended up going to, actually I went to college to be an engineer, and then I realised I wasn't clever enough. I know it's a terrible thing to say, and maybe I'm being a bit kind of, a little bit critical, I don't know, of myself there. Self-deprecating, whatever you want to call it, but I didn't think I was clever enough to be an engineer. Not like a real engineer, so I became a different type of engineer. I became a computer engineer. So I did programming and artificial intelligence programming and all kinds of cool stuff at a university in Southampton. This is Southampton, which is a port on the south of England near the Isle of Wight. And let's just fly up in the sky like Superman and show you where that is. So there's Cornwall, there's where I was born, and that's where I went to university. Southampton. There you go. Actually, where the heck am I? Have I ended up in Portsmouth accidentally? Well, that would be terrible if I have. No, that was Southampton, I'm pretty certain. Yeah, this is Southampton. Oh, that made me jump. Well, we'll take a little break there and see who's subscribed. I will stop from time to time to see who subscribes. It's a bit vain. Hello, Matties30, Matties30. How you doing? Thank you for joining our happy gang. So I'm doing a rather self-indulgent look at my life here. And it is self-indulgent, but I'm doing it for my own sort of enjoyment more than anything. So around here we've got 3D mapped Southampton. Look at this, we can fly around these beautiful 3D mapped structures. Just amazing. Right, okay, let's stop there. Let's see where we go next. So yes, went to Southampton University, and then I sort of got jobs in IT for a little while. Moved around quite a lot and kind of settled down in the world of sort of internet engineering, really. I did all kinds of stuff. I did ethical hacking. I was a kind of ethical hacker before it was cool, penetration tester, that kind of thing. Did work on what are called X sites in London. This is beautiful London, including these chaps. Used to work here, but don't tell anyone. It's a secret. But yeah, I did all kinds of cryptographic material handling and penetration testing and IT stuff. And I had. I was very lucky, really. I mean, I still feel lucky to live and work around London. I absolutely love it. I think it's a beautiful place. There's Waterloo Station. I come through here quite often. And there's the London Eye. Let's stand on top of the London Eye, shall we? You know what, I'll do that later. Let's fly up. There's beautiful London. So I kind of got my wish, you know. I know it's not much to ask. As a kid, I wanted to be closer to the action, and to me, this little kind of grey area of the UK was more attractive than that lovely green area of the UK. And now I'm an adult, I think, what was I thinking? You know? But maybe one day I'll move back there. I was seriously thinking about it. So, yeah. I guess the reason we're not moving back there, I'll be completely honest with you, is I don't want to kind of start the cycle again. I don't want my kids going through the same feelings and emotions as I did about, you know, wanting to get out of a rural area and get to the big smoke. But yeah, I just want to give them the best chance. I think I'm right, making the right choices. So anyway, where am I living now? So I live in a lovely part of the world just to the west of London, an absolutely beautiful area, and it's kind of quite rural actually. I mean, I think people from London actually consider this area to be incredibly rural, and you know, the fact I'm talking about moving from a rural area to the big smoke, you know, Londoners would laugh at that and say you do live in the countryside. I live in an area where there's beautiful rolling green fields, lovely. Look at this mansion. Wow, this guy's got a lovely house. I want to live here. This is rather nice. It's like Downton Abbey. But it's a lovely area, and it's an affluent area. There's good opportunities here, and it's just beautiful. And this is where I live. Surrey, it's called. It's lovely. But all of the UK is lovely in different ways. But yeah, I'm lucky enough to live in this area here, Surrey, which is close to that area there, London. And it's sort of grey and smoggy, and it gets greener and greener and greener. I'm lucky really, you know, I live in a beautiful area, and I cannot complain, not one little bit. There's much worse places to live. There we go. Isn't that nice? I'm just going to stand up here. I think this is the part of the North Downs I'm standing on here. So let me just stand on top of this tree. Ah, beautiful. On a clear day you can almost see the south coast. You can even see the sea sometimes. Just make it dark. Wow. Huh. Hit you right in the field gland. Right, anyway, okay. Next, where am I off to next? There's not much to say about my life at the moment. I ended up working for IT companies and X sites, let's say that much at least. And now I'm very lucky to work for a global company. And I have quite a senior position in this company, and it's a Silicon Valley company. And I'm lucky enough to be able to travel to the Silicon Valley. Here we are. And just meet some very talented people. Met very, very talented people from all over this area over the years. There's incredible amount of talented people in Silicon Valley, and yeah, just an amazing place really. I mean, not a stunning place to live, although it does have some lovely mountains. In fact, Google offices are in Mountain View, which has a view of the mountains, hence the name. In fact, Google offices I think are over here near this airstrip. I think Google own that airstrip, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. They own an airstrip. Maybe it's over here. I don't know, I'm getting lost now. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. I'm very lucky really. I mean, I work for a global company. I do a job I love, and I get to play in VR and occasionally fly over to the US. Really, really nice. Okay, is that the end of my story? I think it is, isn't it? Where's this? Obviously bookmarked this for some reason. Don't know why. Maybe I was going to finish here with some poignant statement about life. Life. What's it all about? I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, that was it. That's my life so far. It's not particularly interesting. I've kind of cut out quite a lot. Where I met Penny. That time I killed that guy and where I buried him. All that I've cut out for legal reasons. Yeah, it's best, isn't it? Best to keep that stuff out of the public eye. But yeah, that's my life so far. I'm only in my 40s, so I've probably got a few years left yet before I kick the bucket. Maybe I'll do another one of these before I kick the bucket, and I'll fill in the gap in between. There you go. So let's leave beautiful Surrey, fly up into the sky, and I'll say au revoir. Where the hell was I? I wasn't even in Surrey. Where the heck was I? Okay. Tell you what, let's nip over to Scotland. This is where Greg lives. Greg lives sort of over here somewhere. Somewhere around here, this area. It's up here actually, somewhere over there. But isn't it lovely and mountainous? Check out how mountainous Scotland is. There they are, the Scotch. They don't like being called the Scotch. Just so you know, never call a Scotsman a Scotchman. They hate that. They hate that. The Isles are silly. Very silly. Right, I think I've done this to death. There you go. My life. It's not particularly interesting. I'm looking the wrong bloody way. I'm not even on camera. But thanks for watching. And if you want to subscribe, you can. I might do more of this self-indulgent nonsense in the future. You never know. If you like it, I'll do more. If you don't, I probably won't. I feel a bit miserable now. I don't know. I don't like reminiscing. I don't like looking back. I prefer to look forward. And yeah, I'm going to keep playing in VR and enjoying myself and enjoying my job and enjoying my family and enjoying my house and being happy. Be happy, everybody. Enjoy your life. See you soon. Bye bye.